Shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Not long ago, one of my children had one of those experiences in the playground we've all had or seen, where someone was not very nice to them, and one of their best friends was right there next to them and didn't say anything, just stayed completely silent. And my child thought, well, not only is this person being silent, but I can see they're also kind of agreeing with them and being unkind, and saw them reflecting some of those comments later. So they said, well, I better find another friend. And for the next few weeks, spent times a recess with other friends. But then finally, somehow we got a call from that friend who really wanted to spend time with my child. And they started to see each other, and they had a really lovely time. And that friend was actually very, very sweet. And at the end, we heard from their family how they loved spending time with them and how important it was to them. Because words have the power to hurt another human being. We know this. When you feel attacked by words, it really goes deep and it ruptures bonds. But it's not always the end of a story. So our parsha this week is Tazria Mitzora. It's mostly about the disease of tsarat, which was a form of leprosy, as the Torah describes it. And the person who was struck by it was called the Mitzora. But it's not any kind of leprosy that we really recognize. And for the rabbis, it wasn't a regular disease, it was a spiritual disease. It could strike a person, it could strike a house. It had all these different colors, as the Torah describes. And they believed it was caused by God's spiritual displeasure with people, specifically when they spoke poorly about another human being, when they spread gossip or did lashon hara. And it goes back to another story later on in the Torah where Miriam, Moses' sister, starts to speak poorly about her brother Moses. You know, why is he the leader? What's so special about him? And his wife. And God is unhappy, and as a result of it, she gets leprosy. And for 7 days, she has the eruption, and for 7 days, she has to be outside the camp. And this is what happens also in our parsha. The person who had this form of leprosy, who had tsarat, would have to rend their clothes and say, I am impure, and walk out of the camp. And that spent some time away. But that was not the end of the story, because then they were also allowed back. And they had to be examined by a priest, and we can imagine that the priest would look both at the outer signs, but also at the inner workings, to see if they'd done their work. And then they'd have to make an offering, and they would shave and then be welcomed back. But first they had to make an offering, and there were 2 birds. First they had to sacrifice one bird, it was killed, that was a custom, and the other one was set free. And the Torah says it was set free over the wide open field. And the Ishbitzer Rabbi says, why does it mean that this bird was set free over the wide open field? And he says, what's that wide openness? He says, that's symbol for love, for ahava. So that bird was left over to symbolize the new beginning, to symbolize the power of love, to symbolize flying high above everything else, to be free from everything that holds it back. And so we often teach in Judaism that words have power, that you can't take them back. And there's so many children's stories we tell about how you can never take words back. It's like opening up a pillow and the feathers coming out of it, and you'll never get the words back. But on the other hand, it is true also that time and love can also heal, even such damage. And after 7 days, Miriam was allowed back. And then she continued to lead the people with Moses and Aaron. And when she passed away, Moses grieved profoundly for his beloved sister. And the Mitzora had to leave camp, but then he also came back. And so when it happens, words really do hurt us. They profoundly create a wound in us. And it feels like there's no recourse. But usually there is, with a little bit of humility, with some kind words, to realizing how important deep love and relationships are to all of us. And when the time is right, to let go, to let it fly away, and realize that what happened was just part of the movements of all of us and of the universe itself. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.